I was 14 the first time I stayed home alone overnight. My parents were visiting my aunt 3 hours away, some kind of family emergency. They'd be back Sunday morning. Keep the doors locked. Don't open for anyone. Call if you need anything. Standard parent stuff. I nodded, already thinking about how much junk food I was going to eat. Friday night, 11 p.m. I was on the couch watching TV, halfway through a bag of chips, when I heard it. 3 knocks at the front door. Not urgent, not loud, just 3 slow, deliberate knocks. Knock, knock, knock. I muted the TV, listened. Nothing. I figured it was a neighbor. Maybe someone with car trouble. Maybe a package delivery guy who got the time wrong. I walked to the door and looked through the peephole. Nobody there. The porch was empty, just the yellow glow of the streetlight and moths circling around it. I turned on the porch light, checked again. Still empty. I told myself it was probably some kids playing ding-dong ditch. Happened all the time in our neighborhood. I went back to the couch, turned the TV back on. 20 minutes later, 3 more knocks. Same rhythm, same pace, slow, deliberate, knock, knock, knock. I didn't go to the door this time, just muted the TV and listened. Silence. Just the hum of the refrigerator and my own heartbeat. Then I heard something that made my stomach drop. 3 knocks. But not from the front door, from the back door. Whoever it was had walked around the house. I sat frozen on the couch. The back door was in the kitchen, 20 feet away. The blinds were closed, but they were thin. If I turned on the kitchen light, they'd see me. I grabbed my phone, thought about calling my parents, thought about calling 911. But what would I say? Someone knocked on my door. I decided to check the back door first. Just look through the window, see if anyone was actually there. I crept through the kitchen, keeping the lights off. The back door had a small window at the top, covered by a thin curtain. My mum had put it there for privacy. I reached up slowly, pulled the curtain aside. A face was right there, inches from the glass. A man, middle-aged, stubble, dark eyes, expressionless, just staring straight ahead, like he knew exactly where my face would be. I screamed, stumbled backward, hit the kitchen table, knocked over a chair. When I looked again, he was gone. Nothing but darkness and my own reflection in the glass. I called 911, locked myself in the bathroom, sat in the bathtub with a kitchen knife, and waited 20 minutes for the police to arrive. They checked the whole property, walked the perimeter with flashlights, found footprints in the mud around the house. Someone had circled the entire property, multiple times. The footprints overlapped, going round and round like a track. He walked around the house with purpose, not looking for a way in, but checking which one I'd failed to notice. They also found something else. The lock on the basement window had been tampered with, scratches around the edges, fresh ones. Someone had been working on it with a tool. One of the officers shined his light on the lock and just muttered, "He almost had it." He wasn't just knocking, he was testing, checking which entrance was weakest while he kept me focused on the doors. My parents came home that night, broke every speed limit on the highway. We installed a security system the next day. Cameras, motion sensors, floodlights, everything. A week later, the police called. They'd arrested a man 2 towns over for breaking into a home while the family slept. He'd been watching them for days before he made his move. They showed my parents his mugshot. It was the face in the window. He never said why he picked our house, never explained what he wanted, never mentioned me in any of his interviews. But I know one thing. If I'd opened that front door when he first knocked, I wouldn't be telling this story. My wife and I bought our first house in 2019. Small place, quiet neighborhood. We installed a Ring camera on the front porch, mostly for packages, nothing serious. March 2020. My wife was visiting her parents for the week. I was working from home. Alone. The first night I got a motion alert around 2 a.m. Figured it was a cat or a raccoon. Didn't even check. Second night, another alert. Same time, 2 a.m. This time I opened the app. A man was standing on my porch. Just standing there, facing the door, hands at his sides. I watched the live feed. He didn't move, didn't knock, didn't try the handle. Just stood there for 6 minutes. Then he turned around and walked away. I didn't sleep that night. Kept watching the feed. Nothing else happened. Third night, I set up my laptop by the bed. Kept the Ring app open. 2 a.m., motion alert. He was back. Same position, same posture, facing the door. But this time, he was closer, standing right against the door. His face inches from the Ring camera. His breath fogged the glass, but his eyes never blinked. He looked up, directly into the lens, and he smiled. The kind of smile people make when they don't understand how smiling works. Not a friendly smile, not a threatening smile, just wrong. Like he knew I was watching. He stood there for 11 minutes, then left. I called the police the next morning. Showed them the footage. They said they'd increase patrols in the area but couldn't do much unless he actually tried to enter. Fourth night. I didn't sleep. Sat in the living room with a baseball bat. Watched the front door. 2 a.m. came and went. No alert, no knock, nothing. I thought it was over. Then I heard a sound from the kitchen. Tapping. Soft. Rhythmic. I walked to the kitchen slowly. Bat raised. The tapping was coming from the window above the sink. I turned on the light. He was there, face pressed against the glass, still smiling, tapping with one finger, slow, patient. I stumbled back, grabbed my phone, called 911. By the time I looked up, he was gone. The police never found him. No fingerprints, no footprints, nothing on any neighbor's cameras. But here's the part that still keeps me awake. When I reviewed the Ring footage from that night, the front porch was empty all night. He never came to the front door. He learned my pattern, knew I'd be watching the Ring, so he went to the only window without a camera. We moved 3 months later. I still check the app every night at 2 a.m. Old habits. I moved into my apartment in August. First place on my own. Second floor, decent neighborhood, good price. Too good, actually. Rent was about $400 below market rate for the area. But I was 23, just starting my first real job. I didn't ask questions. I just signed the lease. First week was normal, unpacking boxes, figuring out where everything went, getting used to the sounds of a new place, the pipes, the neighbors, the traffic outside. Nothing weird. Second week I started noticing things. Small things. Cabinet doors I'd closed were open when I came home from work. The bathroom light was on when I knew I'd turned it off. Items on my dresser moved slightly from where I'd left them. I figured I was just tired. New job, new apartment, new routine, sleep deprivation. Your brain plays tricks when you're exhausted. Then I found the note. It was on my kitchen counter, a small piece of paper, torn from a notebook, folded once. I opened it. You changed the locks. That's all it said. 3 words. Blue ink, neat handwriting. I stared at it for a long time. I hadn't changed the locks. The landlord had done that before I moved in. Standard procedure, he said. He did it between every tenant. I called him that night, asked if the previous tenant had returned the keys before moving out. He went quiet for a second, cleared his throat. She left in a hurry, he said. I had to change them, because she never returned her set. I asked why she left in a hurry. He said he didn't know. Said she just stopped paying rent 1 month, stopped answering calls. When he went to check, she was gone. Left most of her stuff behind. I told him about the note. He said it was probably old, stuck somewhere I hadn't noticed, fell out from behind the fridge or something. Told me not to worry about it. I tried not to. A week later, I came home from work and noticed something wrong immediately. The smell. Someone had been cooking. The faint scent of garlic and onion hung in the air, still fresh, still warm. I hadn't cooked in 2 days. I'd been eating takeout. I searched the apartment, every room, every closet, behind the shower curtain, under the bed, nothing. I told myself maybe the smell came from a neighbor's unit. Old buildings have weird ventilation. Then I checked the bathroom cabinet. There was a toothbrush that wasn't mine. Blue handle, damp bristles, still wet. I called the police. They came, checked everything, took the toothbrush as evidence, found nothing else. No signs of forced entry, no fingerprints they could use. One of the officers suggested I get my locks changed again. Might give you peace of mind, he said. I did it that night. Watched the locksmith install brand new deadbolts. Kept the only 2 keys. A week of silence. Nothing moved, nothing changed. No smells, no notes, no wet toothbrushes. I started to relax. Then I woke up at 3 a.m. to a sound. Someone breathing. Not from outside my bedroom, not from the living room, from inside, from the closet. Heavy, slow breaths. In. Out. In. Out. He breathed like someone who'd been hiding there long before I ever moved in. I didn't move. Didn't reach for my phone. Didn't breathe. Just lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening. After maybe 5 minutes, the breathing stopped. I heard soft footsteps. Carpet muffled, but definitely there, moving toward the window. The creak of my bedroom window opening. A rush of cold air. Then silence. I waited until sunrise to move, until the room was bright and I could see every corner. I checked the closet. Empty, just my clothes and shoes. But on the floor, where I kept my sneakers, there was a small piece of paper. Same notebook paper, same blue ink, same neat handwriting. I lived here first. I broke my lease that day, packed 1 bag. Left everything else. Just got out. The landlord called me a week later. Said the new tenant found something strange. A small door in the back of the bedroom closet, painted over to match the wall. Easy to miss unless you were looking for it. It led to a crawl space that connected to the building's old maintenance area. Someone had set up a space in there. Blankets, food wrappers, empty bottles. Someone had been living in the walls. Watching. Waiting, coming out when I wasn't home, and sometimes when I was, and sometimes even when I was wide awake. I was 12, old enough to stay home alone while my parents went to dinner, but my mom insisted on getting Mrs. Patterson from next door to check in on me. Mrs. Patterson was 70-something, watched her soaps, would sit in our living room for a few hours, then go home. Easy job. One Saturday night my parents left around 7 p.m. Mrs. Patterson came over at 7:15. She sat in the recliner. I sat on the couch playing my Nintendo DS. Around 9 p.m. she fell asleep, snoring softly. Normal. That's when I heard the knock. Not at the front door. At my bedroom window. My bedroom was on the ground floor, faced the backyard. No reason for anyone to be there. I walked to my room slowly. The blinds were closed. I could see a shadow on the other side. Someone was standing at my window. I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. Then the knocking came again, soft, almost polite. "Hey, buddy," a man's voice, calm, friendly, but practiced, like he'd rehearsed the lines. "Your mom sent me. She forgot something. Can you let me in the back door?" I didn't move, didn't respond. "Come on, champ. It'll just take a second. She said you'd know where her keys are." My heart was pounding. Something felt wrong. Everything felt wrong. "I already called her," I lied. She's on her way back. Silence. Then the shadow moved. The footsteps crunched on the grass, getting quieter, going away. I ran to the living room, woke up Mrs. Patterson, called my parents. They were home in 15 minutes. My dad checked the backyard with a flashlight. He found footprints under my window and something else, a duffel bag, hidden in the bushes near our back fence. Inside, duct tape, rope, a hunting knife. The police said he was prepared, waiting, watching the house. He knew a kid was home with an elderly babysitter. He knew when my parents had left. He'd been watching us. They never caught him. My dad installed motion sensor lights that week, bars on my window, an alarm system. We never talked about what was in that bag, what he had planned. But I never stayed home with just Mrs. Patterson again, and I never answered a voice at the window. 2 years ago, I broke my leg in a skiing accident. Spiral fracture of the tibia. Surgery. 6 weeks non-weight-bearing. 2 months of physical therapy after that. I was stuck in my apartment for weeks, hobbling around on crutches, watching TV, ordering delivery because I couldn't drive. My roommate had moved out the month before, new job in another city, so it was just me, alone in a 2-bedroom apartment, barely able to make it to the bathroom without exhausting myself. About a week into my recovery, I started hearing sounds at night, creaking floorboards, soft thuds, the sound of weight shifting on old hardwood. Old building, I told myself. Pipes cooling down, neighbors above me moving around, normal stuff. Then I started noticing things with my food, disappearing faster than I was eating it. A box of crackers I hadn't opened, now half empty, a bag of chips with just crumbs left. Milk I'd just bought already running low. I thought maybe I was just eating more because I was bored, stuck at home, nothing to do, constantly snacking. That made sense. But then I found the glass, a drinking glass in my sink. Dirty. Water spots on the inside. I hadn't used a glass in days. I'd been drinking from bottles and cans because they were easier to carry on crutches, less risk of spilling. Someone had used that glass and put it in my sink. I started paying attention after that, setting small traps, leaving items in specific positions. A sock on the floor near the closet, angled precisely. Cabinet doors closed tight with a specific amount of pressure. Every morning, something had moved. The sock shifted, the cabinet slightly ajar. Things I couldn't explain with, I just forgot. I thought about calling someone, the police, a friend, anyone. But what would I say? My sock moved. I'm eating more crackers than I remember. They'd think I was losing it. Maybe I was. One night around 1 a.m. I woke up to a sound. The refrigerator door opening. That soft suction sound. Then the clink of jars as someone moved things around. I froze. Lay perfectly still. Controlled my breathing. Someone was in my kitchen, looking through my refrigerator, while I was home. I wanted to get up, grab my phone, call for help, do something. But I couldn't. The crutches were across the room, leaning against the wall. I couldn't move fast, couldn't fight, couldn't run. I was helpless. So I just lay there, pretending to be asleep, listening. The refrigerator closed. Soft footsteps moved through the apartment. Not toward the front door, toward the whole closet. I heard the closet door open, then close, then silence. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Just lay there, watching the ceiling get lighter as the sun came up, listening for any sound. The next morning I called my building super, told him I needed maintenance to check something in the closet. A leak, mold, anything to get someone to look. The maintenance guy came that afternoon, a big guy, tattoos, looked like he could handle himself. I asked him to look at the hall closet, said I thought there was water damage in the back. He opened it, moved some boxes. pushed aside the winter coats I'd stored there. Then he went quiet. "You should see this," he said. Behind the boxes, behind my coats, there was a small panel in the back wall, about 2 feet by 3 feet, painted to match the closet, almost invisible unless you were looking for it. It led to a utility space between my unit and the next. Old building, lots of weird spaces the landlord had never mentioned. Inside, they found a sleeping bag, unrolled, used, empty food wrappers, my food wrappers, the crackers, the chips, water bottles, lined up neatly against the wall, and a small notebook. 2 words written on the first page: "She sleeps early." If he'd been watching my routine, what else had he written that I never saw? The police estimated whoever it was had been there for at least 3 weeks, maybe longer, maybe since before I broke my leg. Maybe they saw me on crutches, saw I could barely move, knew I couldn't fight back, the perfect victim. I don't live alone anymore. Moved in with my sister. Can't do it. Can't be in a place by myself. Every time I hear a creak in the night, I wonder, am I alone? Or am I just the only one who thinks I am?